Tom Reed hated working in zero gravity. His tools kept floating away, and the magnetic boots made his feet ache. But someone had to fix the solar panels on the International Space Station Beta, and today that someone was him. Just 3 more bolts, he muttered to himself, tightening another loose connection on the damaged panel. The endless black of space stretched out before him, dotted with distant stars. Earth hung below like a beautiful blue marble. That's when he saw it, a flash of silver, bigger than any satellite, tumbling through space toward the station. Control, this is Reed. We've got an unidentified object approaching Section 7. About the size of a small bus. The radio crackled. Confirmed. Reed. Our sensors show it's slowing down. It might be powered. Get back inside immediately. But Tom couldn't move. The object was clearly some kind of escape pod, its silver surface covered in strange symbols that seemed to glow. As it drew closer, he could see it wasn't tumbling randomly. It was executing a perfect docking maneuver with his section of the station. Control, it's an escape pod. It's attempting to dock. His heart raced as the pod latched onto the hull with a dull thud that vibrated through his boots. I'm going to check it out. Negative. Reed. Wait for security teams. Tom switched off his radio. Someone might be dying in there, and the security team was stationed on the other side of the station. By the time they arrived in their bulky suits, it could be too late. The pod's airlock cycled automatically as he approached. Every safety protocol screamed at him to wait, to follow procedures, but something about those glowing symbols made him think this was important. The inner door of the pod slid open with a soft hiss. Tom's helmet light illuminated the interior. The pod was bigger inside than it looked, with walls covered in the same glowing symbols. But what made him gasp was its occupant. An alien. A real, living alien. It was curled up in what looked like a pilot's chair, but as his light hit it, it unfolded itself to stand, and stand, and stand some more. The creature was huge, at least 8 feet tall, with 4 arms and skin that shimmered like mother of pearl. Its face was almost human-like, with 2 large eyes that glowed a soft blue. Those eyes fixed on Tom with an intensity that made him step back. Then the alien did something completely unexpected. It dropped to its knees, making itself smaller, and reached out with all 4 hands in what could only be a pleading gesture. Please, it said in perfect English, its voice surprisingly soft and musical. Please, I beg you to accept me as your servant. Tom's mouth fell open behind his helmet visor. Of all the first contact scenarios he'd imagined, this wasn't one of them. I am Blue, the alien continued, still kneeling. My people are dying without bonds. I need someone to serve. Please, let me be your slave. Hold on, Tom said, raising his hands. Nobody's going to be anybody's slave. Are you in trouble? Do you need help? The alien, Blue, looked up at him with those glowing eyes. Yes, I need you. Without a bond, I will die. My people refuse to accept what we have become, but I cannot deny my nature. Please, just accept my service. I can be useful. The absurdity of the situation hit Tom all at once. Here he was, a simple maintenance engineer, being begged by a giant alien to accept it as a slave. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor. Before he could respond, his radio crackled back to life. Reed, security is en route. What's your situation? Tom looked at the alien, still kneeling before him, all 4 hands clasped in a gesture of supplication. Whatever was going on here, it was clear this creature wasn't a threat. At least not in the way anyone had expected. Control, he said slowly, we're going to need a xenobiologist, and maybe a diplomat. And you're not going to believe this, but the quarantine room was too small for Blue. Her head nearly touched the ceiling, and her 4 arms kept bumping into the walls. Tom watched her through the observation window, feeling oddly guilty about her containment. So let me get this straight. Dr. Wells, the station's medical officer, said while reviewing her notes. Your species needs to form bonds with others to survive. Blue nodded, her pearly skin shifting colors slightly. Yes, we were not always this way. Once, we were the masters. She looked down at her hands. We kept other species as our companions, our servants. But evolution is cruel. Over thousands of years, these bonds became necessary for our survival. Tom leaned forward. What happens without a bond? We lose our will to live, Blue said quietly. First comes weakness, then depression. Finally, our bodies shut down. Many of my people are dying now, too proud to admit we need help. She pressed one of her hands against the window, looking directly at Tom. That is why I fled. I refuse to die from pride. Dr. Wells tapped her tablet. Your medical scans show signs of stress and declining health. How long can you go without this bond? A few more days, perhaps. Blue's skin dulled to a grayish tone. On my world, thousands are already dying. Our leaders keep saying we will find a solution, that we can change back to what we were, but they lie to themselves. Tom felt his chest tighten. He'd seen that gray tone spreading across Blue's skin over the past day. She wasn't lying about her condition. What exactly does this bond involve? He asked. You keep saying you want to be a slave, but that's not going to work. We don't do slavery here. Blue's eyes brightened slightly. Perhaps slave is the wrong word in your language. We seek to serve, to help, to make our partner's life better. In return, the bond keeps us alive and healthy. She stood straighter. I can be very useful. My strength and size make me an excellent worker. My 4 arms can handle multiple tasks. I learn quickly. It's more of a symbiotic relationship, Dr. Wells mused, like those birds that clean crocodile teeth. Yes, Blue's skin flickered with hope. And there is more. The bond enhances both partners. My strength becomes your strength. My abilities complement yours. The station commander, who had been quietly listening, finally spoke up. This could be a diplomatic nightmare, or a tremendous opportunity. He turned to Tom. She seems fixated on you, Reed. Probably because you were the first human she met. Tom ran a hand through his hair. What happens if I agree? Is this permanent? The initial bond lasts 1 lunar cycle, what you call a month, Blue explained. After that, it can be renewed or broken. I would never force anyone to maintain an unwanted bond. Dr. Wells checked Blue's latest readings. Her vital signs are deteriorating. Whatever we decide, it needs to be soon. Tom looked at Blue, really looked at her. Behind her alien appearance and impressive size, he saw something familiar. Fear, not of death, but of dying alone, without purpose. I'll do it, he said suddenly, surprising himself. 1-month trial period. Not as your master, but as, let's say, a partner. You help me with my work. I help you stay alive. Deal. Blue's skin erupted in swirls of bright, joyful colors. Yes. Thank you. She pressed all 4 hands against the window. I promise you won't regret this decision. The commander sighed. I'll have to report this to Earth. The paperwork is going to be interesting. He nodded to Dr. Wells. Let's get them set up in the main conference room. Whatever this bonding process is, I want it properly documented. As the others left to make arrangements, Tom stayed behind. Blue watched him with those glowing eyes, her skin now a calm, steady blue. Why me? He asked finally. Really? Because, Blue said softly, when you found me, your first thought was to help, not fear. That is exactly the kind of partner my people need. Tom couldn't sleep. He lay in his small station quarters, staring at the ceiling, thinking about tomorrow's bonding ceremony. The digital clock showed 3:27 a.m. Earth Standard Time, and his mind wouldn't stop racing. A soft knock on his door made him sit up. Come in. Dr. Wells entered, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Thought you might be awake. She handed him 1 cup. Blue's condition is getting worse. How bad? Tom asked, taking a sip. Her body temperature has dropped 2 degrees in the last hour. Her skin is almost completely gray now. Dr. Wells sat on the room's only chair. The station's ethics committee is still debating whether to allow the bonding. Tom felt anger rise in his chest. They're going to let her die while they debate. They're worried about setting a dangerous precedent. She showed him her tablet. Look at these readings. The chemical changes in her brain are similar to severe withdrawal symptoms. Some committee members think this bond might be addictive, maybe even dangerous. Through the tablet's camera feed, Tom watched Blue in her quarantine room. She sat completely still, all 4 arms wrapped around herself. Her once beautiful iridescent skin now looked like old concrete. "What do you think?" he asked. Dr. Wells was quiet for a moment. "As a doctor, I think we're watching someone die from a treatable condition. As a scientist, I'm fascinated by the possibilities of this bond. As a human being," she paused, "I'm scared we might be making a huge mistake or missing an amazing opportunity." The station's intercom crackled. "Medical emergency in quarantine room 3. Dr. Wells, please report immediately." They both rushed to the quarantine section. Through the observation window, they saw Blue collapsed on the floor, her body shaking. "Her vital signs are crashing," one of the medical techs reported. "We need to decide now." Tom pressed the room's intercom button. "Blue, can you hear me?" Her eyes flickered open, glowing faintly. "Tom, I'm sorry. I thought I had more time." "To hell with the ethics committee," Tom said. He turned to Dr. Wells. "How do we do this bonding thing?" "Read, wait for authorization." The station commander had just arrived. But Tom cut him off. "With all respect, sir, we've got an alien dying in there because we're too busy arguing about politics. I'm going in." The commander looked at Blue's vital signs, then at Dr. Wells, who nodded. "On your own head be it. Read. But we're recording everything." The airlock cycled, and Tom entered the quarantine room. Up close, Blue looked even worse. Her skin had lost all color, and her breathing was shallow. "What do I need to do?" he asked, kneeling beside her. Blue raised one trembling hand. "Take my hand. Accept my pledge. That's all." Tom grasped her hand. It was cold, much colder than it should be. Blue's eyes brightened slightly. "I, Blue, pledge my service, my strength, and my loyalty to you, Tom Reed. I offer my abilities to complement yours, my aid to support your goals, my presence to enrich your life. Do you accept?" Tom took a deep breath. Behind him, he could hear the medical monitors beeping faster. "I accept your pledge," he said firmly. "Not as a master, but as a partner. I promise to help you live, to treat you with respect, and to never abuse this bond. We do this together, as equals." A soft blue light spread from their joined hands, traveling up both their arms. Tom felt a strange warmth flow through his body, like stepping into sunlight after being in a cold room. Blue gasped, her skin suddenly blazing with color. All 4 of her arms reached out, but not in desperation this time, in joy. She sat up, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. "It worked," she whispered. "The bond. It's stronger than any I've ever heard of." "How do you feel?" Dr. Wells asked through the intercom. Tom answered first, surprised. "Stronger. Clearer. Like I've had the best night's sleep of my life." Blue stood, helping Tom up with gentle ease. "Because we bonded as equals, not as master and slave. My people never considered." She looked at Tom with wonder. "We never thought to try it this way." The commander's voice came through the speaker. "Well, Reed, looks like you've just made first contact history. Let's hope it was the right call." Tom watched Blue's skin shimmer with health and happiness. Whatever came next, he knew it had been the only call to make. 3 days after the bonding, Tom noticed the changes. He could lift equipment that used to need 2 people. His mind felt sharper, and he needed less sleep. But the biggest change was having an 8-foot-tall alien following him everywhere. eager to help. "The solar panel array needs realignment," Blue said, looking out the station window. Her 4 arms were carrying various tools with practiced ease. "I can sense the power fluctuations from here." Tom checked his tablet. Sure enough, there was a 2% drop in power efficiency. "How did you know that?" "The bond shares more than just strength," Blue explained, her skin rippling with gentle blue patterns. "I understand things you understand, and you gain some of my natural abilities, like my sensitivity to energy fields." They made their way to the airlock, where Blue helped Tom into his spacesuit. Her large fingers were surprisingly gentle as she checked all the connections. "You don't need a suit?" Tom asked, watching her prepare to go out unprotected. "My species evolved to survive in space for short periods." She smiled, a gesture she'd learned from humans. "Another trait you might eventually share, thanks to the bond." Outside the station, they moved together with perfect coordination. Blue anchored herself to the hull while Tom worked on the panels. Her 4 arms kept tools organized and helped steady him, making the job twice as fast. "Tom," Blue said suddenly, her voice serious, "other humans are watching us." He looked up to see several crew members pressed against the station windows, observing them work. Since the bonding, there had been a lot of interest in their partnership. "They're curious," Tom replied. "Some are probably scared, others excited. This is all very new for us." Blue's skin flickered with concern. "Yesterday, one of your engineers asked if I would consider bonding with her when our month is complete. I didn't know how to respond." Tom stopped working. This was something he hadn't considered. "What do you want to do?" "The bond we share is strong, stronger than any I've known of among my people. But," she paused, her skin swirling with mixed colors, "more of my kind will come. They must, if our species is to survive. They will need human partners." Back inside the station, Tom sat with Blue in the observation room. Earth spun below them, clouds swirling across its blue surface. "Dr. Wells wants to study how the bond affects both of us," Tom said. "She thinks it could be the start of something bigger." Blue nodded. "Your people adapt quickly. Already, you show signs of enhanced strength and perception. In my culture, such rapid change would be frightening. But humans, you embrace it." The station commander entered the room, carrying a tablet. "Read, Blue, we just received word from Earth. They want to establish a formal diplomatic program for potential human-Vastian bonds." "That was fast," Tom said, surprised. "They've seen the efficiency reports from your spacewalk today. And Dr. Wells's medical data is compelling." The commander looked at Blue. "They're calling it the Symbiotic Partnership Initiative. No mention of servants or slaves, just equal partners." Blue's skin lit up with joy. "My people's elders were wrong. We didn't need to hold on to our old ways of dominance. We needed to find true partners." She turned all 4 palms upward, a Vastian gesture of hope. "Together, we could become something new, something better." Tom watched his friend. Yes, she was his friend now, not his servant. Glow with happiness. The bond thrummed between them, a connection built on respect rather than submission. "Well," he said, "I guess we'd better help set up this initiative. We've got about 3 weeks left in our trial bond to show everyone how it's done." Blue's skin sparkled with amusement. 3 weeks to change 2 species forever. "I like those odds." The commander shook his head, smiling. "Just try not to break any more efficiency records. The paperwork is already impossible." As they left the observation room, Tom realized something. What had started as a desperate plea for servitude had become a blueprint for the future. And somehow, he was right in the middle of it all. Not bad for a maintenance engineer who just wanted to fix some solar panels. "You're doing it again," Tom said, not looking up from his work terminal. Blue's skin flickered with embarrassment. She had been hovering behind him, all 4 arms twitching with the urge to help. "Sorry. Old habits." It had been 2 weeks since their bonding, and while some things got easier, others got more complicated. Blue was learning to be less servile, but her instincts still pushed her to constantly assist. "Why don't you help Jack with the engine maintenance?" Tom suggested. "He could use your strength with those heavy parts." "But the bond won't break if we're in different parts of the station," Tom finished. "We tested that yesterday, remember?" Blue's skin swirled with mixed colors. "It feels wrong to help others when I'm bonded to you." The station's intercom interrupted their conversation. "All personnel, please report to the main conference room. Priority meeting." When they arrived, the conference room was packed. Dr. Wells stood at the front, looking excited. "We've received a transmission," she announced. "Another Vastian ship is approaching. They're requesting permission to dock." The room erupted in murmurs. Blue's skin paled slightly. "How many Vastians?" the commander asked. "6, Dr. Wells replied. "All unbonded, all requesting partnership opportunities." Tom felt Blue tense beside him. Through their bond, he sensed her anxiety. "What's wrong?" "They're coming too soon," Blue whispered. "We haven't proven the new way works yet. If they try to bond the old way with submission and servitude, then we'll show them a better way," Tom said firmly. "Look how well our bond worked because we chose to be equals." The commander raised his hands for quiet. "We have 12 hours before they arrive. Dr. Wells will screen potential human volunteers. We're not forcing anyone into this, but we need to handle it carefully." Later, in the observation room, Tom watched Blue pace. Each of her 4 arms moved in different nervous patterns. "What if they don't understand?" she asked. "My people have been masters and servants for so long. This idea of equal partnership, it's revolutionary." Tom checked his tablet. "Look at these readings." He showed her their latest medical scans. "Our bond is twice as strong as what your people considered normal. And it's still growing." Blue stopped pacing. Her skin, which had been churning with worried colors, began to settle. "Because we trust each other. Because you never tried to command me, and I learned to stop trying to serve you." "Exactly." Tom stood up. "And that's what we'll teach them. Starting with..." A loud alarm cut him off. Red lights began flashing throughout the station. "Emergency in engineering." Jack's voice came over the intercom. "Coolant leak in the main reactor room." Blue's skin flashed with determination. "The protective suits won't fit me, but I can survive the radiation better than humans." They raced to engineering. Jack was trying to organize an emergency team, but the radiation levels were already too high for safe entry. "The manual override is stuck," Jack explained quickly. "If we don't get it unstuck in the next 5 minutes." Blue didn't wait. She rushed into the reactor room, her large form easily pushing through the emergency doors. Through their bond, Tom could feel the heat, the radiation tingling across her skin. "Guide me," Blue called through the intercom. "Tell me what to do." Tom pushed aside his worry and focused. Thanks to their bond, he could almost see through her eyes. "The red lever to your left. It's jammed. You'll need at least 3 arms to reset it." Blue reached out, her 4 arms working in perfect sync. The lever resisted, then slowly moved. "Coolant flow restored," the computer announced. "Radiation levels decreasing." When Blue emerged, her skin was slightly burned but already healing. The gathered crew stared at her with new respect. "That," Tom said loudly, "is what a true partnership looks like. Not master and slave. Not servant and commander. Just 2 people working together, making each other better." Blue's skin glowed with pride. Not the old pride of her species, but something new, something shared. "Well," Dr. Wells said, checking Blue's vitals, "I think we just found the perfect example to show our new visitors." The Vastian ship was beautiful and terrifying. 3 times larger than the space station, its silver hull sparkled like flowing water. Tom stood with Blue at the docking port, watching it connect. "Something's wrong," Blue whispered, her skin turning a dark, worried purple. "That's a High Elder's ship." Before Tom could ask what that meant, the airlock cycled open. 4 Vastians ducked through the entrance, each nearly 9 feet tall. Their skin patterns showed ranks and authority, something Blue had taught Tom to recognize. Behind them came 2 smaller Vastians, their skin almost completely gray. The tallest Vastian spoke, their voice deep and resonant. "I am High Elder Dawn. We've come for Blue." Tom felt Blue's fear through their bond. He stepped forward. "Blue is her own person. She's not property to come for." The High Elder's skin flashed with angry red patterns. "This bond is an abomination. A high-born Vastian, making herself equal to a lesser species." They turned to Blue. "You shame our entire race." "No," Blue said, standing straighter. "I saved our race. Look at your followers, Elder. They're dying from pride." The 2 gray-skinned Vastians swayed weakly. One stumbled, and Tom rushed to help without thinking. The High Elder's guards moved to stop him, but froze when they saw what happened next. The moment Tom touched the sick Vastian, his borrowed strength from Blue's bond helped him easily support the much larger alien. The Vastian's skin flickered briefly with color. "Impossible," the High Elder whispered. "The bond. It extends beyond the pair." Dr. Wells stepped forward with her tablet. "Not exactly. But Tom's enhanced strength and Blue's healing abilities have merged. Their bond is unlike anything we've recorded." The High Elder's skin showed confusion. "Show me your bond link." "Now." Blue touched Tom's shoulder, and their bond glowed visible for a moment. A brilliant blue light that pulsed between them like a heartbeat. "So strong," one of the guards whispered. "Stronger than any bond in our records." The sick Vastians stirred, their skin gaining a tiny bit of color just from being near the bonded pair. The High Elder's skin patterns shifted rapidly, showing internal conflict. "Our society is based on hierarchy," they said finally. "Masters and servants. It has been this way for millennia. What you propose is survival," Tom interrupted. "Blue told me your people are dying. How many have you lost to pride? How many more will you lose?" The High Elder moved closer, towering over Tom. "You dare to lecture me about my own people?" "Yes," Tom said simply. "Because sometimes it takes an outsider to see the truth. Your people don't need servants or masters anymore. You need partners, equals." One of the sick Vastians spoke up weakly. "Elder, please, we came here seeking hope. Look at Blue's bond. Look how healthy she is." Dr. Wells cleared her throat. "We have 12 human volunteers ready to attempt bonding. All understanding this is a partnership of equals, all willing to try." The High Elder stared at Blue and Tom for a long moment. Their skin slowly shifted from angry reds to thoughtful blues and purples. "Show me," they said finally. "Show me this new way." Over the next hour, they watched as the first new pairs formed their bonds. Unlike Blue's desperate beginning, these bonds started with hope and understanding. Each time, the light of the bond glowed strong and clear. The High Elder's skin had turned a deep, contemplative blue. Thousands of years of tradition. But we cannot argue with results. These bonds are stronger than any in our history. Because they're built on respect, Blue said, not submission. The Elder turned to Tom. "You have 1 more week in your trial bond. Will you renew it?" Tom looked at Blue, his friend and partner. Through their bond, he felt her hope, her trust, her friendship. "Yes," he said, "as equals." The High Elder's skin finally showed acceptance. "Then perhaps it is time for our people to evolve again. Not back to what we were, but forward to something new." Blue's skin glowed with joy, matching the strength of their bond. "Something better," she said. "Something we build together." 1 month had passed since that first desperate meeting in the escape pod. Tom stood before the station's observation window, watching Earth's sunrise. Blue stood beside him, her skin glowing with healthy colors. "It's time," Dr. Wells said, checking her tablet. "Your trial bond expires in exactly 1 hour." The entire station crew had gathered to witness this moment. Even the High Elder and their entourage waited quietly, Over the past week, they had watched 6 successful human-Vastian bonds form. Each pair showed the same strong bond light that Tom and Blue shared. Before we proceed, the High Elder said, their skin showing formal patterns, I must ask, has anyone detected any problems with these new equal bonds? Dr. Wells displayed her data on the main screen. Quite the opposite. Each bonded pair shows increased strength, enhanced healing, and improved mental capabilities. The bonds are 30% stronger than traditional Vastian bonds. More importantly, Tom added, everyone's happy. No one feels like a servant or a master. We're all just partners. The High Elder nodded, their skin showing acceptance. Then we must adapt. Our people will survive not by clinging to the past, but by embracing this new future. They turned to Blue. You were right to seek a different way. Blue's skin rippled with emotion. Thank you, Elder. She turned to Tom. Are you ready? Tom smiled. Actually, I have an idea. Dr. Wells, can you show everyone our original bonding? The screen displayed the recording from 1 month ago. Blue lying weak and gray, Tom entering the quarantine room, their first bond forming in desperate circumstances. Look how far we've come, Tom said. From a plea for slavery to a true partnership. He faced Blue. So this time, let's do it right. Together. They stood facing each other. The High Elder moved forward to officiate. The old bond expires, they announced. Each must choose freely to renew it. Tom held out his hands, and Blue gently took them with 2 of hers, leaving her other 2 hands relaxed at her sides, no longer desperately reaching out, but calmly accepting. I, Tom Reed, he began, offer my strength, my trust, and my friendship to you, Blue. Not as a master, but as an equal. Will you join me in partnership? Blue's skin shimmered with joy. I, Blue, offer my strength, my trust, and my friendship to you, Tom Reed. Not as a servant, but as an equal. I join you in partnership. The bond light that formed between them was brighter than ever, a brilliant blue that filled the room. Through their connection, Tom felt Blue's happiness, her pride. Not the old pride of hierarchy, but the new pride of true accomplishment. It is done, the High Elder declared. The first official equal bond under our new laws. Their skin showed formal patterns of blessing. May it light the way for others. Dr. Wells checked her instruments. Bond strength is incredible. Off the charts, actually. Because we chose it freely, Blue said, both times. The commander stepped forward. Earth has approved the new symbiotic partnership program. We'll be expanding the station to accommodate more Vastian visitors. Any human who wishes to explore bonding will have the opportunity. And my people? Blue asked the Elder. Word is already spreading, they replied. Many who were dying of pride are now seeking passage here. Your new way offers hope. Tom felt a surge of happiness through the bond. Not bad for someone who just wanted to fix solar panels. Blue laughed, a sound she had learned from humans, and not bad for someone who thought she needed to be a slave. The sun finished rising over Earth's curve, bathing the observation room in golden light. Tom looked at his partner, his friend, and felt the strength of their bond, a bond built on respect, trust, and equality. So, he said, ready to help change the universe. Blue's skin sparkled with all the colors of dawn. Together, she said, as equals. Behind them, the station hummed with activity as humans and Vastians prepared for a future neither species had imagined just 1 month ago. A future they would build together, one equal partnership at a time.